Hello, hello, and welcome to this webinar. My name is Will Matos. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Rapid Crush, Inc. Appreciate every one of you being here today. This is going to be a bit of a different type of webinar. I'm not going to present a whole lot of content that is planned. Hopefully I can give you great information about running your Amazon business, but it's going to be off the cuff. I'm going to take your questions and I'm going to answer them. So if you have questions about running an Amazon business, about joining ASM or anything like that at this point, this is your chance to get my perspective, my view, my answers, as I'm the guy who's running the operations behind the scenes of both Rapid Crush Inc. as well as our Amazon business, which is a separate business entity altogether from our information products business. I'm going to start here while I give you a chance to write up some of your questions and think about some of the things that you've been wondering about. I'm going to start by answering some of the frequently asked questions that we've gotten this week at our help desk based upon the ASM promotion that we've been doing, as you know. So I am going to go ahead and start with that, and then you can write your questions. And we're going to be here for a while today answering everything that you want to know. One of the frequently asked questions that we have every time we promote ASM or a product of this caliber is that it's a significant investment to join the program. And it's usually a decision that one of the partners in a couple doesn't make together. So we get this question a lot. Doesn't make, individually, I should say. So I get this question a lot at our help desk and in Skype chats and so forth and Facebook groups. My spouse thinks that this is a scam. How do I convince him or her this is the real deal? This is a great question. This is a great a thing that we hear all the time. Again, because this is such a significant investment, and I'll tell you the real reason why this is an issue. And if any time I start the conversation with somebody, the real reason is not that it's a significant investment. The real reason behind the concern of the spouse is that you have probably spent money on other programs and tried to do other things before and have not been successful. So your partner has probably reached a point where they just don't believe that this online marketing, this business building is going to work. And this is usually how the conversation goes with clients that ask this question. Their partner has basically, given up on your ability to be successful at something. And this is something that we see all the time. I have very, very close friends, well, they've become close friends over the years through business, that started out this way. The person that comes to mind first and foremost is one of my friends who lives in my hometown. His name is Raul, and when I first told him about ASM and he joined ASM during ASM3, he came to me and told me, I just can't do this because my wife just doesn't believe in me anymore. I have spent so much money and so much time trying to build an online business and haven't made a dime yet. I just can't possibly go to her and say, hey, I'm going to spend this much money. But then he thought to himself, he says, you know what, I am going to spend this much money. And he went to his wife and said, how much money do I have to be making a month at the beginning for you to believe in me and for you to know that this is real? How much money do I have to start making a month? And she says, you know what, if you just make $500 a month when you start this business, then I can see there's a future for it. I can see there's a future, I can see, and I can believe that it's going to go somewhere. So Raul had a goal. He came to me and said, Will, I just need to make $500 a month. And I thought, that's so wonderful because of many reasons. First, he made a deal with his wife and said to her, hey, if I'm not making $500 pretty quick, then I'm going to quit this and I'm not going to pursue it anymore. Second, his goal was so realistic. It was so easy for him to succeed because $500 a month in this business, oh my gosh. I mean, I'll tell you a little bit more later as how things usually go and how things usually start. But my goodness, $500 is such a realistic, easy goal. Of course, you way overpass that very, very quickly. But it was a great, nice, easy, realistic goals. I have a lot of people that, you know, see the big numbers and they hear a lot of the big numbers and stuff, and yes, absolutely, they are very achievable. A lot of people do them, but it's not really something that you should ever, in my opinion, go into business with saying, hey, you know what, in my first 30 days, I want to make $50,000. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible, but it's such a tremendous goal that if you made $30,000, would you be unhappy because you failed? Right? So it doesn't make any sense. So if you're in a situation where your spouse is concerned about this, have an open conversation is my suggestion. Have an open conversation and say, look, I believe this is different than anything else that I've attempted, and there is a significant number of resources available to me that have never been available in any other program. I mean, if you look at the bonuses in the community that Jason and I have been providing or are offering as part of this ASM6 package, you will see that there is no other program on this planet ever offered that I'm aware of that provides as much in the way of assistance and unfair advantages to help you succeed. So when you explain all of this to your partner, make a deal and say, look, if I don't do this, I'm going to ask for a refund before the 30-day period is up, and we haven't lost a dime. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a date on the calendar. And by the way, please put a date on your calendar too to remind me to go ask for a refund if this doesn't work for me. And by the way, what I'm going to do is for the next 30 days is I'm going to work my butt off to prove to you that I can do this, that I'm not a failure in business, and that I can be successful, and that I can make a significant difference in our family's financial future. That's the type of conversation that you should be having with your spouse if they're skeptical. This is probably the type of conversation you should be having with your spouse even if they're not skeptical. Partner in this and ask for their support. And this is the best way to do it. This is the best way to approach it. In my opinion, it's the best way to approach it from what I've seen many others who have succeeded and gone to change their lives in ASM by talking to their spouses about it. All right, next question I get a lot. By private labeling products, are we taking on product liability? Am I going to get sued if a customer, you know, gets hurt with the product or something like that? So this is an interesting question, and like anything or any other business, you know, let's be realistic. By walking down the street or by taking your car out of your driveway, you have liability. And so if you're really, really concerned about liability, there are ways to protect yourselves. But let's be pragmatic here, and let's think about this carefully. If you are selling some kind of supplement, something that somebody is going to put inside their body, the risk is significant. The risk really is, you know, significant. And you should be concerned about it. Here's the cool thing about that market is that your private label suppliers usually have an insurance policy, and that policy can include you in it. Because you private label from them, you can actually get covered by their policy. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you are selling silicone spatulas, do you think the liability is a whole lot? How many ways do people get hurt with silicone spatulas? So the liability is a heck of a lot less, or potential liability, right? So there are different ends of the spectrum, and it's really going to depend on the product that you choose. Now, if you're still concerned about liability, based upon that type of information and evaluating the types of products you can choose, there's something else that you can do. You can, and I'm not a lawyer, I can't provide legal advice, I'm not a CPA, I can't provide, you know, any type of professional advice. But I will tell you, the way that we protect ourselves is we form an LLC or an S corporation, and then we have corporate liability protection. So if somebody sues my business because something really, really bad happened to them by using my product, the maximum of what I'm going to lose if I do things right is I'm going to, the business is going to get sued. But I have personal protection. So that's not going to be an issue. So listen, if you're ever going to provide any service or have any business of any type, you're going to have to deal with things such as, risk mitigation, liability protection, and so forth. So don't think that, you can just ignore this in other businesses and it's only an issue in this business. Any business has this type of question. So it's not a reason, in my opinion, in my mind, to stay away from doing a business because, oh my gosh, I'm going to take on some liability. Again, you take on liability when you drive off your driveway with your car. You take liability by basically breathing. My goodness, it's crazy, especially in the litigious society we live in. So if this is a reason to stop you from doing business or stopping you from doing this type of business, I suggest to you that you may reevaluate your goals and your options altogether. Okay, does Amazing.com or Rapid Crush take a share in my business of any kind? The answer to that is absolutely not. We do not, by helping you, by giving you bonuses, by encouraging you, we do not get any part of your business whatsoever. Your business is 100% your own. Any money that you make is yours. We have zero to do with it. So the follow-up question to that is, how does Rapid Crush make money by promoting ASM? Well, and the way that we make money by promoting ASM is by getting a commission. ASM pays us, or Amazing.com pays us a commission as affiliates, which is why we're able to afford giving you amazing bonuses that we have to spend, hard cash on in order to get for you, and why we're able to spend our time helping everyone in the Facebook group and so forth. So this is how we make money with ASM. Why do Jason and I promote ASM so hard? If you've been a customer of ours for a while, you have noticed over the past couple of years, every time ASM has launched, that this is the thing that we promote the hardest. This is the thing that we invest the most time in promoting, the most effort in promoting. This is the only thing that we provide the level of bonuses that we provide. And this is because there is nothing we have ever created ourselves or anything that we have ever promoted that has produced the results for people like ASM has. That's just a cold, hard truth. Listen, we provide great products. We create great products. We only promote products that we think are awesome. But there is nothing ever that we have promoted or done or created that even approaches the level of success that ASM has. This is the only program that I have ever told and made my own family members and my best friends buy. Until ASM came around a couple of years ago, my family and friends didn't even really know what I did. They kind of knew I did some stuff online, but I never really talked about my business because I've always kept business and personal separate, because I knew nobody that I was, friends with or family members, I knew that none of them would ever be interested in digital product marketing, info product marketing, and that kind of stuff. So I never even bothered to talk to them about it. But when it came to ASM, after Jason and I started our own ASM business and we really saw what it was capable of, my goodness, I mean, we could not keep ourselves from telling everybody that we loved about it. Everybody that we cared about deeply, our family, our best friends, we went to them and we pretty much forced them to buy this thing. My sister bought ASM. My sister-in-law bought ASM. My mom is an ASM. My best friends are an ASM. And it's changed their lives. I've had, one of my best friends lives here in my hometown. She wanted to, she worked pretty far away. Every day she had to drive something like 75, 80 miles to go to work. And she has young kids like we do, 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And she wanted to spend more time at home with them. So I told her, start ASM, start this business. Less than a year later, she's able to quit her job. Just happened a couple of months ago. She quit her job 2 months ago. And now she gets to spend more time with her kids at home, and she makes more money than she did before. My mom is making money on ASM. My mom is one of the most technically challenged people you have ever met. She takes, she doesn't know how to take screenshots on her computer of her numbers that she's so excited about and how many sales she's making. So she takes her phone and takes a picture of her computer screen to text over to me. And she's doing it. She made over $4,000 in 30 days. It took her a little time to get started because she didn't go as fast as most people could. But once she actually got the product going, her first month selling the product, she made over $4,000. And to her, that's life-changing. That's amazing, right? My wife does the program. I talked her back into an ASM2 or ASM3. I think it was ASM3, actually. I talked her into doing this business. She was a stay-at-home mom. She's still a stay-at-home mom. We now have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Back then we had, a 1.5 and a 3.5-year-old. And full-time job. Any of you who are parents know that little kids take a lot to take care of. She started doing this business. And she's now doing $1 million, over $1 million per year. The first 9 months of this year, she's already crossed the $1 million mark. And she still does this part-time. So why do we promote ASM so hard? Because it can change lives, and we've seen it, and we want to change more lives. And that may sound like BS to you, but you know what? I've never promoted anything or told my family and friends to go buy anything when it came to business opportunities. I told them to buy this. I almost forced it. I loaned money to some of them who couldn't afford it to be able to buy ASM. That's why we push it so hard. That's why we want you to join, because we know it can make a difference in your lives. What is the average success rate in the program? This is an interesting question. It is the unfortunate truth that more than half the people that buy this program or any program at all never even open up the course. Half the people that join ASM or any other course don't even log into the members area. Period. Period. It's sad. There's another large percentage of people that log in there and they watch every video but do nothing. Do absolutely nothing. Those people fail miserably. So when you ask me what the average is, averages mean nothing. If there are two people in a room, and you ask me what the average income is per year in that room, and I tell you it's $500,000, two people in a room, average income of $500,000, you look at it and you say, wow, those two people are rich. They do really, really well, right? But see, the problem is that averages don't tell you the full picture. One guy in that room makes $1 million a year. The other guy's unemployed and makes zero. So by me telling you what an average result is, it's meaningless. It doesn't tell you anything about the real picture. It doesn't tell you what is really going to happen to you. So you don't want to be average. You want to do your own thing. Averages don't mean a thing. I will tell you that this is the program that has the highest success rate of any program I have ever seen, period. I've been doing business online for over 20 years now, I think 21 plus years. And never have I seen an opportunity like this in my life online. And trust me, I've done pretty much everything you could think of when it comes to online businesses. All right, how much do I need to invest above and beyond joining ASM? Am I going to have to invest a lot of money in inventory and marketing and advertising and so forth? This is a great question. We tell you that the sweet spot is about $1,000 above and beyond the cost of ASM. If you can spend $1,000, that is what we consider to be the sweet spot. Now, it doesn't mean you have to have $1,000 to succeed. That's not the case. The thing is that we want you to go and buy about 100 to 200 units of inventory for your first order. That's a good, safe bet. So if you are going to source something from China that costs, let's say, $2 per unit, and you need to get 100 units, that's just $200 in inventory. But if you're going to source a product that costs $10 per unit to get 100 units, that's $1,000, right? So that's the difference. You're going to look at things that are going to be within your budget for you to get started. But the sweet spot is about $1,000. We also don't ever want you to spend more than about $1,500 in inventory. I think it's silly for the first time, unless you really have a lot of money and don't care about your money, you know, the risk to your money, you should never invest more than $1,500. Because, face it, we want to be safe. We want to be safe with this, and we want to start in a prudent way. Because if you have extra money, you might want to invest in multiple products at the same time. And that would be a better decision than investing a whole lot in one product at first. Now, once you have the product up and it's selling and you have the track record, my goodness, invest as much as you possibly can in it, of course. But let's start with a little safety in mind, you know? So we don't ever recommend more than $1,500. Now, you have some other costs besides inventory. It really depends, again, on you and how you want to do it. For example, you're going to have to create a label. Sometimes the label can even be free, by the way. A lot of suppliers have graphic designers in-house, and they will create the label for free. Those tend not to be the best quality designs. But, hey, if you're on a small budget, then you can get your label designed for free and start there. Once you create a label, it doesn't mean you can't ever change it. Companies change their logo designs all the time. I'm talking big companies. If you go online and you search for, you know, history of the Starbucks label, the Starbucks, you know, coffee company, the chain, if you look at their history of their logo, their logos have changed 5 or 6 times since they were founded. So it's just fine to start with a, you know, not such a great logo or label and then enhance it over time. You can go to Fiverr and spend somewhere between, you know, 20 and 50 bucks and get a label design that's probably going to be better. Or if you want the granddaddy, you want the Cadillac version of it, you go to a company called 99 Designs, and it's going to cost you $300 to get a super, super nice label done. So as you can see, it isn't really like you have to spend X amount. It's what does my budget allow me to spend, and how am I going to spend it? So it really becomes your choice of how you're going to do this business. I will tell you this. I will tell you that I've seen people start this business with $250 to spend. And they took every shortcut in the book, and they were extremely frugal with everything, but they had $250 to get started, and they did quite well. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your profits and you're going to reinvest them for a while. You're not going to just invest, you know, $500 and then get all the profit and take it all and go spend it. You're going to have to buy more inventory. Once your inventory sells, you buy more. But see, because you now made a profit, you got your money that you invested back plus made a profit on top, now you can reinvest even more and buy more inventory, which is going to give you more of a profit, so you can buy more inventory. And then, of course, after a while, you reach a level where you will start taking money out of the business. That's it. Now, how do I know, how much do I need to invest? Okay, how do I know I'm picking the right product? How do I know I'm picking the right product? the right product is you're going to learn exactly how to pick good products in the training in ASM, and we give you our own take in it as part of our bonuses as well. As part of our bonuses, you're going to learn some additional techniques, and we give you additional tools to pick the right product. Because we have tools inside ASM Masters, which is our community that you get access to when you purchase from us. We have tools that have never been released to the market, like our bestseller matrix, that allows you to do product research like no other tool, whether free or paid, out there. Other ASMers who don't join through Rapid Crush don't have access to this. So your chances are already magnified, but here's the other reality. It is true. It is very true that your first product may bomb. Your first product may be a dud. It may not sell. What the heck is going to happen to you then? Well, this is why we have our guarantees. This is why we have our guarantees. We're going to be backing you if you follow the program and you go through it and you're, expedient in the way that you do it. We'll back you. And furthermore, it's going to be a learning experience. That's why I'm telling you, don't spend a whole lot of money on your first product or any product that you start. Don't ever start a product by buying thousands and thousands and thousands of units. You spend a little bit of money to get started with the product, and then you will know for a fact what the demand is for that product. And then you move on. So, is it possible you're going to pick the wrong product? Yes. Do we maximize your chances of picking the right product? Yes. Do we back you up if you pick the wrong product? Yes. Is there any business on the planet that you know of that is going to guarantee that you're going to make a profit? Guarantee. Yeah, actually there is. This one. Because of our profit guarantee. If you do everything you're supposed to and actually move quickly forward in your business, we guarantee you profits. Never ever have I seen anything like this before. Why can we do this? Are we just silly and like to gamble our money away guaranteeing those profits? We put $1 million in the bank if you've seen our letter on our website or if you've been on one of the webinars Jason's been doing. Put $1 million aside to be able to back this profit guarantee. And by the way, we've had to deliver on it many times before that we promoted ASM. And we're fine with delivering it because we want you to be able to take the plunge and we want you to be able to have that safety net. Even though we know that if you follow the system, you can be successful on your own. So, is it such a problem to pick the wrong product? No, don't be afraid of it. It's possible, but don't worry about it. So what if my first product doesn't sell? Right, again, look at our profit guarantee, right? You can always liquidate that product. We've talked about this in our groups before. It doesn't have to mean you lost your money. There are ways to liquidate products. Recover your costs, perhaps. Perhaps even make a little profit on them, not as much as you wanted to. But again, if you've only invested a little bit, the learning experience alone is going to be priceless. See, here's a difference. Here's a difference between being trained and actually doing it. You can watch every video on this planet about doing Amazon and listing your product and creating good converting copy and all that stuff and images and all the technical details. Guess what? When you actually do it, the experience is worth 10 times what watching those videos were. When you actually do it yourself, that is when you're learning. And by the way, this is why we like ASM so much, because they don't just do training and videos and PDFs. They actually walk you through the process of taking action, and then they reward you for taking action. They've created a gamification system where like you earn badges for doing things. So they encourage you to do things to earn those badges. And that's what makes a significant difference in your progress and actually getting you to do stuff. How many hours per week do I have to spend on this business to be successful? This is, again, one of those loaded type of questions because it depends on how you spend your time. For somebody like my mom who has trouble even taking a screenshot, and to learn to take a screenshot, she's going to have to go to Google and spend 30 minutes trying to figure out how to take a screenshot on her Mac and then finding it on her hard drive to email it to somebody, right? That's a long time to spend. So she's going to take a little bit more time than somebody who can take a screenshot and email it in 5 seconds, right? She's going to be a little more challenged. But our technical issues, our technical challenge is a big part of this program. No, there's so little technology involved. Honestly, if you were able to get on this webinar, which you were because you're listening to me, that's as much technical experience as you need because you had to type in your name and your email address to register. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Filling out some forms online, that's basically what it is. If you can use Skype to communicate or if you can send and receive emails, you have pretty much all the tools that you need. That's about it. If you can surf the net and fill out forms, if you've ever ordered anything online, you have all the technical skills that you need to succeed. You don't need much more than that. You really don't. And every single piece of information you need or skill set that you need, you're going to learn in the program. All the basics are covered, folks. All of the basics are covered, which is, again, why I can feel so confident at telling my mom she needs to do ASM. So the average person can go through the training. There's about 2 hours of video training, about, anywhere between 2 and 3 hours, sometimes a little less, in each module, which gets released every week by ASM. That's just watching the videos, 2 to 3 hours. And now, if you're a person who can just follow direction and do things without getting stuck, then you're probably going to spend another 3, 4, 5 hours per week, and that's going to take care of your work for the week to do what they told you to do. Now, later, it may increase a little bit by a couple of extra hours as you start doing more advanced portions of the course, like in modules 5 and 6, for example. But you can absolutely get started with, let's say, very, very safely, somewhere between 5 and 8 hours per week. Now, what if you don't have 5 and 8 hours a week? I told you about my wife, Christiana, who had to get started in this business taking care full-time of a 1.5 and a 3.5-year-old. She did not have time. Being a mom is a 24-hour job. Okay? If you have kids, you know that. Being a mom is a 24-hour job. And so she literally only had 2 hours per week. And by the way, that was not even continuous hours. That was a little bit here when kids were napping. And so it took her, more than a week. It took her sometimes 2 or 3 weeks to even go through a module just watching the videos, and another week or 2 to actually do the work. Okay. It took her 5 months, folks, to get her first product online. 5 months. 4.5 months to be exact. In 4.5 months, from start to finish, she had her first product online. But she only spent 2 hours per week. Now, let me ask you, if you can only spend 2 hours a week, and it takes you 4, 5, 6, 7 months to get your business going, is that worth it to you? Is that worth it to you to spend that little time, that little bit of time, even if it takes you long? Now, of course, when I've told other people this, by the way, who told me I don't have time, I said everyone on this planet can have 2 hours per week to invest in something. Gosh, folks, 2 hours a week, all you have to do is get up 20 minutes earlier and do this 6 out of the 7 days in the week. If you get up 20 minutes earlier wake up 20 minutes, or go to sleep 20 minutes later. That's 2 hours a week right there. Now, in those 2 hours a week, you have to be focused. I'm not talking about spending 2 hours a week reading posts in the Facebook group and surfing. And no, you are focused. You watch a video and you do what the video tells you. And you don't do anything else until you've done that work. And then you go to the next video and then you do the work. And you can do this in as little as 2 hours a week. Now, it may sound really awful to say, oh my gosh, it's going to take me 4, 5, 6 months to do this. Yeah, but you're only spending 2 hours a week. That's crazy, right? And it really, if it takes you 3, 4, 5, 6 months to do this, when you look back a year from now, you look back and you say, gosh, you know, this business that's highly successful, it took me 6 months to build it. Is that really awful? Of course not. When we're looking at 6 months ahead of us, it may seem like a long time. But come on, if all you have is that much to spend. Now, of course, if you have 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a week to spend or even more, of course it's going to go a lot faster. Absolutely it's going to go a lot faster. In fact, we want you to have a product in less than 30 days selling. That's how fast we want you to go. But what I'm trying to tell you is that it doesn't matter how much time you have. Time is not an excuse. Again, I don't have time to do this right now. I'll do it next time. When will it open again? So what I just said about time and the fact that anybody can do this in 2 hours a week. I don't know if ASM is ever going to open again. They might. They probably will. I don't know. But why would you waste the next 6 months when you could be putting in just 2 hours a week? And by the time 6 months comes and ASM launches again, if it does, you might already have a business by then. You might already be selling and making money by then. Why would you waste time and wait until next time? This, unfortunately, is what I kept hearing from a lot of my friends when I started promoting this. Some of them took me 3 launches, a year and a half. One guy in particular, boy, I wanted to get him at ASM2. He didn't join until ASM4. He didn't join until ASM4. Took a year over a year before he joined, because he just kept telling me next time, next time. He's had $400,000 plus months, folks, selling his stuff. $400,000 a month. He could be way farther ahead if he had just started when I told him to the first time. Don't make this mistake. Next time, next time. No, that just doesn't happen. It won't get you, this type of attitude won't get you anywhere. It really won't. Now, doesn't Amazon change ranking algorithms like Google does? And isn't it a moving target? How will the course keep up with those changes? Okay, absolutely. Everything evolves. Everything changes. Amazon does change. ASM does a pretty good job of keeping up when they update the course, and they update the course fairly regularly, but I'll tell you where your real advantage is. Your real advantage is in joining ASM through Rapid Crush, because we, above anybody else in the market, keep up to date with everything that's happening. We spend lots and lots of money testing things so that we can learn things. We are connected with top Amazon sellers in our masterminds who share things with us. And we disseminate information to our group continuously. You see, when you join ASM through Rapid Crush, this is unlike any other program, like I've told you already on this webinar, that we've ever promoted, because of the success stories, but also because of how involved we are with it. For 2.5 years now, we have been providing access and support inside our Facebook group. We have continuously created bonuses and given our customers, even people that joined us way back in ASM1, almost 3 years ago, we've continued giving them access to new bonuses and new things and new trainings and new resources that we create. Because we know if we make you successful, we're going to be more successful. Because if we share things with you, you're going to share things with us. And it makes it for a stronger community, which means that we are all going to be more successful. You see, this isn't the type of program where we're going to promote something, give you a bonus, and then it's done. The relationship is over because you're going to get the value we promised, and that's it. No, this is a program, unlike anything else we promote, where we're going to not only give you the value of the program we're selling you, give you the value of the bonuses, but we're going to give you the value of continuously working with us, continuously getting more bonuses, continuously getting more resources. This is what we've done for almost 3 years now, and this is what we plan on continuing to do. Now, if you've looked at our profit guarantee, this is one of the questions that we get a lot. Can I really will make $2,500 by November 13th? It's possible, but very unlikely, and I'm going to tell you that it is very, 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 very unlikely because this is not what we promised. Some people have done it, but I'm pretty sure that you will not do this. You will not be able to achieve $2,500 by November 13th, which is the deadline of our guarantee. And the reason is that we didn't promise $2,500 in profit. We promised you a rate of, because you might only be selling your product for 2 to 3 days come November 13th, because it's going to take you 2 to 3 weeks if you go fast to get the product online and selling and start making sales on it. But we promised you a rate of if you do all of those things. And a rate of means that if you're selling for 2 days, we will take your sales numbers and your profit. If you're selling for 2 days, we'll multiply by 15, and that's going to give us a monthly rate. So it's a rate of, it's not an absolute. I hope that makes a little bit more sense. And this is explained on our bonus page if you read that closely. I'm skeptical about ASM and your bonuses. Everything sounds too good to be true. I agree with you. It sounds too good to be true. And if you've never heard of us, if we didn't have the track record that we do, if we hadn't been doing this, if this wasn't ASM 6, the 6th launch of ASM, and if we hadn't made these types of bold promises in the past and fulfilled on them, I'd be skeptical too. Let history speak for itself. The fact that we can put $1 million in the bank account and that you can call our banker and verify. We put a letter on our bonus page that says we just opened an account last week. Put $1 million in cash into that account. And if you're skeptical about it, you can call our banker and say, hey, you know what? I'm calling about Rapid Crush Inc. and their account. The account ends in these 4 numbers, which are in the letter. Do they really have $1 million in that account? And our banker will verify. You can call the bank and verify. Yeah, it may sound too good to be true, but you know what? We've proven it. We have the track record. This isn't some gimmick. We're not going to go away next week after we, get you to buy this thing. It just doesn't work that way with us. Period. Now, those are some of the top questions that we've been getting on our help desk, and I wanted to make sure I answered them. Perhaps many of those have answered your questions already. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the chat box, and I am going to start taking some questions there. Okay? Now, one more question. Things that people get caught up on that are absolutely irrelevant, that slow them down. Like, for example, we have customers that take 2-3 weeks. They spend 2 to 3 weeks trying to figure out what their business name is going to be. Folks, it doesn't make a darn bit of difference in how you're going to sell. And guess what? If you pick a wrong business name and you want to change it, you can change a business name. It doesn't make any darn difference. Don't get caught up on those things. Oh, do I need to have an LLC or this or that, and do I have to? No, you don't need to have anything, really. The first step you need to take is you need to sign up for ASM, period. Sign up for ASM. Everything else you're going to be walked through. And everything that is not in the course, you ask in our Facebook group, we answer your questions. None of these things that seem like logistical nightmares for you or that you're worried about, like, the little logistics or the nitty-gritty stuff, None of it should you be worried about right now. None of it should be taking even a second of thought in your head. Leave those things alone. What's the name of my LLC going to be? What is, like, do I have to call my business? And then what is it going to look like to customers? Guys, you're going to learn all that stuff. It really doesn't matter. Really, really doesn't matter. Can you do the same, multiple products under the same LLC or same business? Yes. Do you need to have an LLC? No. You can do this under your own name as a sole proprietor. It doesn't matter. Can I do this if I'm outside of the U.S.? Yes, you can. How will you ship things from outside the U.S.? It depends. It doesn't give you, seriously, this is very important, so pay very attention. If you're outside of the U.S. or inside of the U.S., if you're a U.S. citizen living here in the U.S. or you're outside of the U.S., neither of you has any significant advantage or disadvantage. How can that be, Will? How can I tell you that if you're outside of the U.S., you have no disadvantage over somebody in the U.S.? Because just like you outside, just like us in the U.S., you outside the U.S., we're going to make phone calls or send emails or fill out contact forms on manufacturer websites. If they happen to be in the U.S., great. You can find lots of great products to source in the U.S. If they're in China, great. It's going to get shipped directly from the manufacturer to Amazon. So it doesn't matter. You never have to touch the product. Folks, the first product that Jason and I did was cellulite cream. And you learned the exact case study inside our members area of how we did our second product, which was vitamin C serum, under the same brand. We never touched the product, even though the manufacturer is only 2 hours away from me, from my home. I never bothered to go see them. I never told them to ship me anything. I told them, great, here it is, here's the label. Send me a copy of the label so I can see what it looks like. But the product itself, I never touched it. It went to Amazon. The first time I touched the product is when I went to Amazon and bought it to see what it would look like and what the process was like. Because I didn't know. I needed that hands-on experience. That's the first time I ever touched it. So it doesn't matter if you're outside the U.S. You don't have to ship things from the U.S. to your country back to Amazon in the U.S. No, 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 no. You ship things directly from the manufacturer to Amazon. Now, if you want to see the product before it goes, then just ask the manufacturer to ship you a sample, and that works. You definitely want samples, by the way, when you're shipping from China. You don't want to ship, you don't want to just buy products blindly. So make sure that you get a sample. In fact, when you get samples, the cost of the sample is almost zero. Sometimes they give you the sample for free. What costs from China is the shipping. So they just charge you shipping. So it doesn't matter whether you get 1 unit or 5 units. I always recommend from China, here's a little tidbit for you. Very, very important if you're going to source from China. When you ask for a sample, say you want 5 units. And the reason you want 5 units instead of just 1 is that you don't want to just see the quality of 1 unit. You want to see the consistency of quality across all of the units. So you want to see if the quality is consistent across all of the units. So, what percentage of ASM5 members are making $10,000 per month in sales? Asks Stephen. Again, this is one of those questions of averages and really difficult to answer. First of all, it'd be irrelevant for me to tell you if I tell you 50% of them are, and I'm not saying that they are. I don't have that figure. I'll tell you why I don't have that figure. But if I told you 50% of them were, you would say, wow, 1 out of 2 is successful? No, actually, that could actually be 100% because I told you 50% of buyers don't even ever log in to access the training program. So you see, for me to tell you a percentage of buyers who are successful is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The only thing I can tell you is that, with certainty, is that this is the program that has produced more success stories than anything else we have ever seen. We don't know the exact number because We don't have access to anybody's business. We only see the people that come to our Facebook group and they post their results voluntarily. We don't even ask them to do it. You will never be asked, hey, post your numbers. Nope, you're going to do that if you would like to on your own. A lot of people, as you know, aren't very social and they don't like posting stuff in groups. So we don't know. I can't tell you what the percentage is, but I can tell you that this is the highest percentage of success stories that we have ever seen. Ever, by orders of magnitude. I can also tell you that this is the only program that I made my own family members buy because I believe in it so much, because I've seen the success stories. So hopefully that will tell you enough. So what is the net profit? Because we always talk about how much somebody sells per month. Yes, you're absolutely right. We always talk about gross numbers. That's the total amount of revenue. If you follow the program, your percentage of profit should be somewhere between 40 and 60%. After all is said and done, you should have about a 40 to 60% profit margin. It depends on your product. It depends on how many units you source and so forth, because there's discounts obviously as you source more units. So it's very possible, for example, for you to start with a product that has like a 35% margin because you're only ordering a few hundred units, but then you can automatically increase that margin when you start ordering higher quantities because your product is selling so well, and you start in the thousands of units for your orders, and now your margin has gone from 35 to 45 or 50 or whatever. So absolutely, you want to stick with products, and you're going to learn the system, how to know. You're going to learn how to calculate everything so that you understand what your profit margin is going to be before you ever source the product. Not after you have it and start selling it, before you ever source it, and you want to stick with 40 to 60%. All right. What can you expect to do on a day-to-day basis with this? Again, every week for 8 weeks, ASM releases training modules on Fridays. So every Friday, starting this Friday, by the way, Module 1 releases this Friday, October 16th. You're going to get access to that training, and you're going to watch some videos. And you're going to do stuff. And the first week is actually really easy. You'll probably be done with that in like 4 weeks, but you can start consuming in 4 hours, sorry, or less. You can start consuming our content in our ASM Masters members area, which is your bonus members area for when you join through us, and there's already a lot of training. In fact, we have a lot of customers who start sourcing products even before Module 1 releases, because we already have all that training in the members area. So the first couple of weeks, you're going to start setting up your Seller Central account. You're going to choose your product. You're going to find your supplier, and you're going to place your order. And that's what you're going to be doing to start with. Okay, do products have to have personal branding? Can I just sell somebody else's brand if I buy something wholesale? Well, it is the strength of the program and the way ASM makes a difference when it comes to this business versus other business is that it teaches you to private label. Because when you sell somebody else's stuff, anybody else can sell that somebody else's stuff. If you sell, Nestle chocolate online because you got a good deal at Costco and you're going to sell it, that's called arbitrage. It's really not building your business. It's just arbitraging. You're constantly, buying stuff for cheap and selling it for high, for a higher price to make a profit, but it doesn't really get you anywhere. There are no assets that you're building. You see, when you start private labeling something, you create your own brand, you have just built an asset. It's an asset that nobody else can have. That brand belongs to you. Nobody else can sell it unless you sell it to them and allow them to sell it, right? So you're building an asset, and the value of that asset goes far beyond what the sales are that you make on a day-to-day basis. I have brands that I can sell now for 7 figures. Brands that I created out of nothing. Out of nothing, well, out of time, really, just time. I've created a brand by contacting private label suppliers and slapping a label on something they already manufacture, creating my marketing materials, which is my listing on Amazon, my images, and some copy that we wrote. And now this thing starts selling, and we have a brand, and that brand can be sold. I can cash out and sell my brand, one of my brands, for 7 figures right now. And it was created like a year and a half ago. I have a 7-figure asset that was created out of thin air a year and a half ago. Why do I get so excited about this? It's because of this kind of stuff. We haven't even talked about building assets yet. What other business can you go into that you have an asset like that out of thin air? It just doesn't make a difference. I mean, it just doesn't exist, right? It just doesn't exist. So Justin says, you know, it's overwhelming looking for suppliers and stuff. Justin, it isn't if you just follow our simple methods. We have very simple methods. I actually wrote a PDF that shows you exactly every single Google search that I did to find a supplier, and then what questions I asked the supplier and how the entire process went through. Overwhelm is something that you create. It isn't something that's thrown at you. Oh, I'm overwhelmed. There's too much information. Well, don't listen to the information. You won't be overwhelmed. Period. Just shut it out. Focus is what you're going to need, and how to focus is to get less information. Everybody seems to want more information. Teach me more ways to do this or that. No, 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 no. You need to pick one way and just do that and forget everything else. That's how you get overwhelmed. Andrew, congratulations. You and your wife joined last night. That's awesome. Congratulations. By the way, we talked about spouses and spouses that don't believe and spouses that are skeptical earlier. This is one of the most amazing things you can do with your spouse, your partner, a child. We have grandparents doing this thing with their grandchildren as a business. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for a family, for parents and children, or spouses, or siblings. Truly, truly a great, great opportunity. Hutch says, talked to the wife last night, agreed it was a great opportunity, bought this morning, started going through the welcome module and bonus materials. Already feel more enabled to do this and already have ideas of what my next step is. Very excited to get this going. Hutch, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Do we get one-on-one calls with mentors when we join? No, you do not. We do not provide any one-on-one assistance. We provide assistance to everyone equally in the Facebook group because everybody ends up having the same set of questions. So if we answer your question in the Facebook group, it'll benefit everybody else. So we do not provide one-on-one. You don't need hand-holding. You don't need specific hand-holding. You really don't. You are building a business. You are building a real business. You're going to become a business owner. You're going to create assets. Just follow the training and get it done. All right, so I'm looking for more questions. There are a lot of positive comments here from people who have already joined, people from comments from already good ASMers, or previous ASMers that are successful. That's great. Vito said I sound stressed out. I actually have a really, really bad cold. So being here this morning talking to you, it's definitely taking a lot out of my body right now. Because I actually have a fever and I wish I could be in bed right now, but I committed to being here and talking to you about this stuff. Again, because I know that this can change lives. And more than anything on this planet, Jason and I want to change lives. Of course we want to make money. Let me get that out there. I'm not here to just be completely altruistic and, you know, be like Mother Teresa and give my my life just to helping others. I do want to help others. I do want to make a difference. You know, I do want to donate to charities and make things happen, and we do those things, by the way. But I also want to make money. But I know that if you join this opportunity, it's more than just my commission that I'm going to be getting. I'm going to be getting the satisfaction of knowing that I helped you change your life. And every single time, and like I told you before, we don't specifically go and ask each person, hey, post your success story. But I'll tell you now that if you do post your success story, it's going to make me really, really happy, and it's going to give me great satisfaction, because every time I hear in our Facebook group about how someone's life has changed, about how they were able to leave a dead-end job, about, Raul, the guy that I told you about in my town, who now has the privilege and the ability of putting his kids in private school, because that was always a dream of his, to put his kids in private school, but he couldn't afford it, and now he can. And there's so many ways that lives have been changed. People that want to do good, people that want to contribute more to their church, people that want to contribute more to charities in their communities, people that want to make a difference in other people's lives. That's what gets me going. That's what gets us truly, truly excited, is when we see those success stories. When we see those success stories. You see, success in your life isn't just about you. Success is awesome. It's awesome for you to be able to afford nice things and have a nice life. That's great. You deserve that. Everyone deserves that. But success, you owe success not just to yourself, but to those people around you, to your family members, to your loved ones, to your friends, to your communities, to your charities, to your church, you name it. If you're not successful, you're hurting them, not just yourself. Take this to heart. Success in your life is not just about you. Success in your life is about those around you. And you owe it not just to yourself, but you owe it to them to contribute to their lives in whichever way you can. I truly 100% believe this, and this is how I approach my business every single day. Every single day. Do this, and take this approach to your business. Take this approach to your thinking about business and about success, and it will change your life, I guarantee it. I have a lot of little questions here. How do I ensure suppliers put the labels on correctly and all that kind of stuff? Folks, I know that you're worried about this, but learn to tell yourself, I don't have to worry about this, because it's going to be taught in the training, and it's a very simple process. And I can always ask the supplier to take a picture of the thing and send it to me. Or I can have them send me a sample. You see, all these little things, those are the little questions that don't matter when it comes to you deciding to make this investment or not. So if you've already made the investment and you're wondering about these questions, by all means, go on the Facebook group and ask. Done. You get answers. You get tons of answers. Do we continue to upgrade our materials if there's more openings of ASM? We have never stopped in 2.5, almost 3 years now, we've never stopped providing more and more training and more resources. And by the way, this isn't just during ASM time. If 2 months from now we discover something new, we're going to create a training or a PDF or at least post in the Facebook group to let everybody else know about it. So you'll get continuous. I can't promise you we're going to create more training. I can't promise you we're going to create more tools. All I can tell you is that we have been doing it for almost 3 years. All right, so somebody asked to remain anonymous, has bought ASM twice. And the reason he bought ASM twice is because the first time he didn't buy through Rapid Crush. And we do not allow anybody into our group unless they buy ASM. So this person went into our group so bad that he bought ASM a second time just to be part of our group. So consider yourselves very lucky if you haven't bought ASM yet, because you're going to buy from us the first time. You're going to buy from us directly the very first time, and you're not going to have to buy the second time to get all of our stuff. Yeah, so again, specific questions like Lewis is asking, hey, how do I do this specific thing in categories in Amazon? Go ask in our Facebook group. Just go ask in our Facebook group and we'll answer that there. Those are questions that don't, like trust the system. Trust in us. Trust the system. Okay, will this be offered again? Will ASM be offered again in 6 months? I'm going to save up money to do it at that point. You know, I don't know. If I had to bet, I would say it will be offered sometime in the future. I don't know if it's 6 months, a year. I just don't know. But I will tell you one thing. You should do every possible thing that you can. You should beg, borrow, or steal. And no, I don't mean literally. Please don't steal. Begging or borrowing is okay. To get into the ASM now. Because what else are you going to do? If you don't have anything to do, if you can't afford this now, what is going to change in the next 3, 6, 9 months? What else are you going to do to be able to change that so that you can afford it? See, folks, I don't know anything else that you could possibly do that will get you this fast a set of results and this level of magnitude where you're building a real business with assets. I know lots of ways to go make a quick buck online, but to get to the point of being able to make a quick buck, it takes a lot of effort. And then, at the end of it, all you have is a quick buck. You don't have any assets. That's what excites me the most about this business model is the assets that I'm building, because the money that I make on the process every month is great. But my goal is to have a $500 million company in the next few years. $500 million, and then I want to sell out. I can't do that unless I have assets. All right, let's see. More questions. If you have any other questions, please type them in the question box. Looks like the questions are slowing down here. A lot of people saying they signed up already. Excellent. Awesome. Justin said there are 700 suppliers for one of my product choices. Excellent, Justin. Very cool. Pick 3, pick 5, and communicate just with those 5. You don't have to contact all 700. Just pick them. Any, mini, miny, mo. Period. Don't overthink this. Don't overthink this. Period. Seriously. Don't overthink. This is one of the things that people get stuck on. They start overthinking stuff. Well, what if this? What if that? Just move forward and see what happens. Don't try and predict the future. Just like see what happens after you take action. Taking action is what's going to get you there. Not worried about it. Friday, when the first module is released, Friday is forever from now. Yeah, I know. It's like Christmas, right? Waiting for that new thing to happen. That's great. So, looks like we've answered most questions here. John, I know you're listening. If there are any questions that I missed in the chat box that need answering, please let me know. But I think I've answered pretty much everything. Basically, it comes down to this, folks, and I'm going to push you a little bit hard here now because, again, I so much believe in this. The only wrong decision is for you not to sign up. That's the only wrong decision right now. And let me tell you why it would be wrong for you not to sign up. Because if you don't sign up, you're not signing up because you have a doubt, because you don't believe, or because you're skeptical, because of something that is preventing you from doing it. But guess what? Any of those things, any of those hurdles, any of those questions, any of those doubts, I won't be able to fully clarify all of them. Jason won't be able to clarify all of them. All that you can find online and offline about this program, about this business opportunity, is not going to answer all of your questions. The only thing that is going to answer your questions is for you to actually go look in the inside. Go in the members area and start doing the training, and then you will know for sure. So you can either wait until Thursday night when this thing closes and let the decision be made for you, or what I like to say is you can extend your decision and say, you know what, I don't want to decide for 30 days. What I'm going to do is, instead of letting it be decided for me, because it's going to close. I'm going to buy into it, and all I'm doing is extending my ability to make a decision for 30 days, because you have 30 full days from Friday when the Module 1 releases, 30 full days to make your decision. And if for any reason whatsoever, whether you tried everything and it didn't work, or whether you just didn't even open the videos and watch any of them, no matter what you do, you have 30 full days to make a decision. And if you don't like it, if you don't want it, ask for 100% of your money back, no questions asked. Doesn't it make sense for you to make a fully informed decision by actually looking at the program? Even if you're not sure that you can do this, doesn't it make sense for you to actually be fully informed and say, you know what? Instead of letting this thing shut me out on Thursday when the cart closes, I'm going to join right now. I'm going to take 30 days. I'm going to mark it on my calendar so I don't forget. I'm going to tell my spouse or my friends to remind me on a certain date so I don't forget. And then I can make a fully informed decision, because right now I don't have enough information to make a decision. I don't know enough. I can try and find out information, but guess what? It's going to be incomplete and inaccurate. You're only going to know for sure when you look at this thing, when you try and do this thing. So the only wrong decision, the only silly decision you can make is to not sign up. Is to not sign up. Seriously. Is there any reason whatsoever for you not to sign up right now? Knowing that all it does is extend your ability to make a real informed decision. I don't know about you, but in business, I want to make informed decisions. I don't need to know every single detail, but I want to make as informed a decision as I can. So if every vendor that I deal with offered this opportunity for me to try something for 30 days to then make a fully informed decision, boy, I'd love that. I would not hesitate one bit to try something out. So folks, don't let it shut you out of something that is just so incredible, that has changed so many lives, that can make such a difference in your own life. Buy yourself or give yourself the opportunity to at least see it yourself with your own eyes, to make your own judgment, regardless of what you've heard or haven't heard. Make your own decision, because you're an adult. You're an intelligent adult. But if you wait past Thursday, that decision is made for you. And you will have passed on something that could potentially have changed your life, that could have potentially given you the ability to realize every single dream you've ever had. That's how powerful this is. So don't let this pass you by. I urge you to, at the very least, look at it and give it a chance. Because when you do, magic will truly happen. When you join our community and you see the energy and the power of that community, you will see that you will have advantages that you've never, ever had in any other business or any other opportunity you've ever participated in. If this doesn't do it for you because you don't want to do the work, if this doesn't do it for you because, it's just quote-unquote too hard, which, by the way, it isn't, but some people will always claim that, hey, having to do 2 hours of work a week is hard, If that's you, good luck to you in your life. Good luck to you in building anything real that will give you profits and that will give you assets. Good luck. If you're a person who's willing to commit a few hours a week and follow instructions and follow the system that's been laid out so clearly in front of you, then for the love of God, please join this thing. Please give yourself a chance to achieve what you want to achieve. It's important. It can change your life. I've seen it. I'm making my own family members do it. I've been making them. It's already changing their lives. But don't get me wrong, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to watch the videos. You're going to have to follow the system. It's almost paint by the numbers. But you have to do it. You have to take the pencil out and trace out the numbers. Nobody's going to do it for you. Just buying the program is not going to make you rich. Now, if you do the work and you build a business, oh, the riches that you can achieve. So listen, folks, with that, please go to the URL on your screen right now. John, maybe if you can type that in the chat box as well so folks have it. Please go to that link right now that you see on the screen and sign up. Sign up, because the sooner you sign up, and please don't wait until Thursday, because so many people wait until the last minute, and then there are, credit card payment issues or bank issues or website issues and stuff, and then they get shut down. And the reality is, if you want to make this happen fast, which many of you do, the faster you sign up, the faster you can get started, because even though ASM doesn't start until Friday, we have enough in our members area that you can probably, if you move fast, you can probably have a product sourced by Friday. I'm not joking. It's very, very possible with the information that we give you. So go to the URL you see on your screen or click on the link in the chat box. Go there. Do this now. Don't hesitate. Take the plunge, knowing that you're backed by our profit guarantee, knowing that even if you do nothing, you can get your full money back within 30 days if you ask for it. Commit to only one thing, giving yourself the option. Give yourself the option to make a fully informed decision within 30 days. That's it. Invest in yourself, invest in your future. Remember what I told you a little bit ago. Success is not just about you. You don't owe just success to yourself. You owe it to those around you whose lives you can influence, whose lives you can change. Approach business in this way, and you will experience success to levels you've never had before. With that, I'm going to sign out. My name is Will Matos. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Rapid Crush Inc., and I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the ASM Masters Facebook group and help you grow your business to the levels you desire. Thank you very much. Have a great, awesome day.